Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Rusty here, and welcome back to Impact Dynamics Live for episode 31. Here's where we're up to, amazingly. I think I'm going to just stop counting soon. Numbers are irrelevant to what's going on. Welcome aboard. We are here for a Monday night, back to a new week, and this has been a week since the ID Team Impact Challenge. We'll talk about that in a moment. But shout out to the guys, Lana, Anthony, and another Anthony, and Dave, and Craig, and Charles, who are in the chat already. And Scott has joined, and Chungi's in, and all sorts of, and Sean's here, all sorts of crew. Yeah, Robbie's obviously a popular bloke. That's why they're all here. Certainly not here for me. All right. Well, we will get on. We'll get on with a few things. Projectile Warehouse, as you guys know, you can save 5% off of Projectile Warehouse. Code is ID Live 5, ID LIVE number 5. And that is going to save you 5% off. But also, if you didn't see it today, there is a pre-owned Lyman Gen 6 powder thrower there for $310 or $320 plus 5% off. So that is in pretty good condition, works and does everything it's meant to. So go and hook that up if you're in need of electronic powder thrower, and up your game if that's what you're into. Hey, the COVID Safe app came out last night, I think. Have you guys got it? If you're in the chat, tell us if you've done it, if you downloaded it, if you're not going near it, tell us what's going on. It's a very interesting piece of news at the moment, and to see the various reactions. Apparently, just before we went live, about 1.9 million people in the country have downloaded it. What do you think of that? Anyway, I'm curious to see your thoughts. We got some more crew in there. Warwick's in the chat, Peter, Andrew Little, and Emma Stevens. They're all here to hear what Robbie has to say, and I don't know. They're not going to give him a hard time. I'm sure they're not going to give him a hard time. They're nice people. They wouldn't do that to anyone. That's good. Now, coming up this week, tomorrow night, Ben Jarrett joins me for another chat about social media and putting information and bits and pieces out there. It will be interesting. It was a bit of a follow-up to an episode from a couple of weeks ago, so if you haven't seen that, Ben's obviously gone from nothing to the Long Gun Project being what it is today in the last, I'd say 12 months. Actually, it's probably coming up to 2 years, I think. Anyway, I lose track of time, and so we're going to be talking about sort of growing that and some of the questions, some of the things that we've been watching and seeing who is out there and developing their socials, if that's what they choose to do, and all the good and bad that comes with that. So looking forward to it. There's some not a lot of people are more scared of the app than they are of coronavirus, it would seem, because no one is interested at all in it. Not a big surprise, to be honest. Not a big surprise at all. Right. Team Impact update. So Emma checked in this morning, if you haven't seen that. So her plan was to go from being able to do 20 push-ups, and then within 2 weeks being able to do 40 push-ups. And I think after 2 days she regretted her decision immediately and decided that it was a horrible idea and she was not going to be able to do it. Here we are a week later, and she put up a video today saying that she is at 31 push-ups in a week. So we're halfway there, and she is over halfway on to her goal. Now, she's got the harder half coming up, so we will see how that goes. But I've got faith in her. She's got good mentors that have given her the workout she's on. So anyway, let's check in with Emma and see what she had to say today.
Hey guys, just thought I'd do a quick check-in. So it's been a week since I agreed to do the Team Impact Challenge, and mine was push-ups. So I've been doing my push-ups, planks and tricep exercises every day. And I have improved. I've gone from 20 to 31 in a row today. So I'm going to keep it up. Hopefully I'll get to my 40. And yeah, it'll be great. Team Impact, yay!
Right, well done, Emma. Good stuff. Great to see that stuff going on. I'm still getting tagged in all sorts of posts, which is awesome to see. So keep that work up. A couple of check-ins in. If you've done some stuff, hit us up in the chat, see what they're doing. Andy Little, I need an update from you, what you're up to. That will be awesome. And so for me, I haven't dropped much weight. I didn't go hard on the food side of things, but I have done a workout a day every day since we 7 days in a row or whatever it's been. So I'm less concerned about the weight drop, although I'm still going to go for the goal of 5. I think I'm down 1 or something at the moment, but I've been super focused on actually doing the workout side of things, and that's been helping a lot. So we'll keep going down that path, but I'll smash 4 out this week. Why not? Let's get on it. Dry fire, I've done my 4. Andy Little, I've done my 4. I did one today, and it's been good fun. Thanks to the guys who've jumped in on the dry fire when I've done the live stream of them. Some of the advice has been great. Some of the chats have been great. All sorts of ideas. So it had been good. We actually had a couple of guys jump in on, I don't know what they call them on Instagram, but there was 2 of us live for a little while, and Ian showed us one of his guns, and a bloke out of the US jumped on in with a massive beard. It was a serious beard. That was good. And the other little the triple barrel to bring this to 3 challenges for me, because why not, is off the booze for the 2 weeks as well. Nothing to report there, still off the booze. And to be honest, that's not that big a deal unless we were away at a match or a gun show. Then that would be a real impressive challenge. But anyway, that's we'll get on to that. Or if there was a podcast, if we did a podcast without booze, that would be a very boring podcast, I suspect. Right, let's just have a check-in on the chat, see what guys are discussing there. But not a lot of people are keen on the COVID Safe app. That was good. I was thinking about downloading it on my second phone and just turning Bluetooth off and being like, yeah, I did the right thing and downloaded it, and you got nothing. Anyway, we'll see. Anthony says his goal would get semi set up for reloading, start decapping some brass, and he's just done that a few minutes ago. So, Anthony, absolute win. I don't know. There we go. One of the dings for you. Good job. Great to see that. Let's see what else. There's a question there. Is Delta Tactical physical store online only? Mate, they are a physical shop, but it's an appointment-based shop. So you can maybe, I don't know if they're open at the moment. Yeah, Luke's got the answer, but yeah, you can hit them up for an appointment. Whether or not they're doing that at the moment, not sure. Sean says, helps restocking the bar. The bar is fully stocked, my friend. Fully stocked. There is 40 plus things of bottles. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm struggling. Maybe it's the booze. Maybe that's why I'm struggling for creativity of words. Anyway, the bar is stocked. We're good. No migraines tonight. No, we're good. All right. Let's get. I think we've covered everything we need to get there. Get all that business out of the way, and then we move on to the entertainment for this evening, which. Well, he goes by the Precision Project, or by Robbie G, or by all sorts of, or the best looking man in PRS, I believe, is one of the most coveted titles that he holds on to. That's perhaps not self-proclaimed, but that's certainly, it's hard to argue against. But joining me tonight, Robbie. Robbie is a fascinating shooter. He's gone from, well, we're going to get into it tonight, but I remember my first interaction actually with him was, I said good day to him at Mildura, one of the early matches, and then I had the absolute pleasure of telling him off virtually the first time I spoke with him, and so we've gone from that to see him starting out to now being a serious competitor and taking things and putting the work in to go up the ladder, really. So I look forward to sharing that story with you guys tonight. And Robbie Gallo, jump on board, mate. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good. Look at that smile. Whew.
Yeah. I'm looking at you. Look at you, mate. You're a changed man.
It's a stage 1 merch. That's why, man. It's me. That's what's going on. So
I think it's the no booze, mate.
We'll see. Just a quick little one. Dave is working on a review to get up as part of his Team Impact Challenge, and he is rendered and working on uploading. So that is also good stuff, mate. What have you been doing for the last however long it's been? You've been dry firing, practicing, working out, or you had an injury, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So I've kind of had a bit of a setback. Yeah, I haven't picked up my gun for about a month now.
Okay.
I tore some cartilage in my ribs. So back to a slow, steady pace.
Yep.
But yeah, we're on the mend, so hopefully we can start getting back into things. It'll be good.
What's your recovery time on that? Are you?
Well, they haven't really given me one. They said everyone's different, so anywhere between 2 to 8 weeks. So
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm at the 3-week mark, and it's feeling better.
So would this have knocked you out from Mildura, or would you have been okay for Mildura?
Well, when was Mildura?
Now you're asking the tough questions, Robbie. That's my job. It was the end of March. So you if it's only
end of March,
a few weeks.
Yeah, I probably would have been out for that. I probably would have been right on it. I reckon.
Yeah, right. Okay, and
but
then
in saying that, I probably wouldn't. In saying that, I probably would have still attended because I would have been doing other things. So
right, gotcha. And then then Kestrel Monado Meltdown would have been this weekend coming. So you're probably in the same boat as Ash, mate, where his injuries have worked around coronavirus cancelling everything. So
worked around everything. Yeah, how's he going?
I'm on recovery, doing all right, and I think what he's guessing is that by various predictions, depending on who you listen to or who you don't, his recovery will be back on deck and probably good to go when we're maybe thinking about getting back into things. So,
perfect.
We will see how we go, man. We will see how we go. So, do you remember one of our early interactions of me having to tell you off because you were shooting under a bench?
No, I don't.
You don't?
I don't. Can you enlighten me with that?
So in Mildura, for those who are not familiar, you've got all these baffles that sit on top of the benches and all these things, and you have to take your shots from those baffles. And I remember you laid down prone next to a bench, and I had to come up and go, mate, get off.
That's right.
Get off the ground. Get on the bench.
I remember that. That's right. So that was an exciting day.
Yeah, that's right. And that was your first match, wasn't it? That was your first match.
It was what? Sorry? My first match. Yeah.
Yeah. Was that the first?
I had no idea what I was in for.
Was that the first PRS or was that the second one? Do you remember what year that was?
That was 2016.
17 then.
Actually, 17.
Yeah. So it was you shot the first PRS then?
First PRS, I'd only been shooting about a year and rocked up and side in and looking at everyone else going, what's going on here? And then I remember rocking up the first day. Mm-hmm. So it would have been the Saturday, the first match, rocked up and got squatted on the line. Yep, everyone's ready to go. First one up was, who was that guy that was living in New Zealand? Bronte,
yeah.
Yeah, so it was Bronte. And he just lined up and it was like 2 shots near, 2 shots far, 1 shot in the middle, whatever it was. Anyway, he just jumped up, cleaned it, and it was like 90-second stage. He'd done it in like 50 seconds or something.
Yeah.
And I've just turned around and looked at everyone and I'm like, I'm not made out for this. But it turned out to be like the most awesome day I've ever had. And then we got to follow it up on the Sunday. So it was great.
Yeah, nice, man. Nice. What got you into shooting if you'd only started about a year before that?
So a few friends go rabbit shooting and help out some farmers and stuff like that. And one of my mates goes, I'm going to go sight in my 22. Do you want to come? And I was like, I've never shot a gun before. That'd be fun. Awesome. So I went with him, helped him sight in his 22. I had no idea what was going on. I had a shot and I was just like, that's it. I'm going to get into this. So ever since then, I was on YouTube and trying to figure out, what MOA was and trying to correspond that to millimeters and, trying to understand it. And, from there, it's just predominantly I pretty much got into it. So trying to understand it and then predominantly wanted to shoot PRS. So I'd seen it in the US and was watching all that, as they broadcast it. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, how can you make a bullet go from, up 50 meters, 100 meters out to, they're shooting like 600, 800 and further. So I'd knuckled down and I wanted to try and, understand how that was possible. And that was it. It became an obsession and now, a competitive hobby. So
yeah, fantastic, man. That's awesome to see. And so you came along to that first one and enjoyed yourself. But it was awesome. What did you leave thinking? What was on your mind?
Well, at first, I didn't really know what to expect. I just wanted to go out, have some fun, shoot some targets, and kind of, make a good weekend out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, I got, 10 times more than that. I got, a whole bunch of friends out of it.
Yeah.
I got, I don't know, I learned more than, because there's not really anyone that I surrounded myself with that knew a whole lot about shooting or distance shooting or wind or ballistics, anything like that. I didn't know anything about it. So I kind of just rocked up with an app like Strurlock and just went, well, it's saying to do this, I'll do this and take a shot and, impact. All right, cool, I'll run with that. So the best part about it was, you don't necessarily create friendships, you create a family. Like now you can rock up to a PRS shoot by yourself and you literally know every single person there. And on sighting day, it will take you 3 hours to even pull your gun out of the gun bag, because you're just catching up with everyone. So it's such an awesome community that, So I got a lot more out of that first day than I ever did, because I got friends. I learned more than I thought I ever would have. It was an awesome time. You put on an awesome show, as well as all the sponsors and everything like that involved. It was just, it was awesome. So.
Yeah. Oh, sweet, man. That's awesome to hear. And was that your first competitive shooting sort of interaction at all? Like, had you done anything prior to that?
No, none at all. So that was my first one. Just rocked up and hope for the best. So it was good. It was awesome.
And so then 2018, you were back in Mildura for the start of the season. Had you done anything in that? I mean, because it was that 2017 match, for those who are not familiar with how it all started, that was like an exhibition match. It was like here's the PRS, we're gonna do this is what it's all about. And then we went and focused on the 2018 season. There was nearly a year, about 11 months between those matches. Did you do anything in that particular time with, particularly, or was it just a matter of, that was good fun, all right, well, I'll just keep trying to get better and go back next time?
Well, I think it's one of those things where you try and get the hard part is you don't really want to throw yourself into, I don't know, say the top 5 to 10. People are always scared to go up and ask the top 5 to 10 that are always consistently 5 to 10 for help, knowledge, anything like that. And I think that would be the best thing you could possibly do. So I was kind of talking to people in the likes of, J Orange, Birchie, people like that, somewhere around, the either first to the top 10 that were consistent, and just kind of pick their brains on little things. So each shoot, or, Facebook Messenger, or, reaching out and just asking them, what can I do, or what's this, or, what bags do you guys recommend, and, all those things. So I think the little 1%ers that you ask and you start gathering all the information from everywhere else, I think once you start piecing them together, you start to get an understanding of how things work and how things, I suppose, could be done and should be done, and the way you can interpret them in a way to be able to help you. I think that was my kind of 2018 season, was just trying to get as much info as possible. But although I did try and shoot almost every weekend in the 2018 series. But I kind of found myself in a trap where I couldn't get better. I didn't really know what to do to get better and all the rest of it. So I bit the bullet and started piecing together a rifle and, things that I thought would be the best things that I could get, at that time. Started piecing that together, and then I got in touch with Lucas. So that would be towards the end of last year.
Year before.
Year before. Sorry.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, because it doesn't feel like we've kicked off 2020 yet. We're still waiting for that first match to.
Sure.
So last.
It actually would have been halfway through last year. That's when it would have been.
Yeah, right. Through 2020.
And I said to Luke, I know you've got a great deal of knowledge and blah blah blah. I said, I'm getting a gun build and it's getting chambered in a 6-dasher. I know the barrel life isn't, ginormous. So would you mind, once I get my hands on this rifle, would you mind giving me a hand? And he goes, yeah, there's no worries. So went up to Luke's and he helped me do some low development, just get it shooting. And he taught me more than anyone could ever teach anyone in just that one day.
Yeah.
I just walked away just mind blown. Like the knowledge, the experience, the way he can put things across, you know, and translate it into English so, you know, you can understand it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, ever since then, been working closely with Luke. So, yeah, he's been by far the biggest help. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Definitely.
So you what were you running prior? And because you were running a Ruger off memory? Or have I got that way
So
wrong?
originally I was running a Ruger Precision.
Yep.
In 308. And then got rid of that and ended up getting a Howler and a 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously both of those guns are right-handed, and being a left-handy,
Yep.
there's not many options available, you know, in more of a budget-style production class. Obviously I was running production at the time.
Sure.
So that's rifle and scope combined under 5,000.
Yeah.
So at that point I kind of thought, I'd rather get a better scope and, you know, sit back on the gun. At least if I do decide to build a rifle, at least I can put that scope on it. So
yeah, and go from there. Nice, man. So that 2018 season, how was that? You were shooting pretty regularly. Were you seeing a lot of development in how your results were, or were you?
Not well, to an extent. I think working closely with Luke, I think you start to realise that the mental game is probably, you know, a good 80 to 90% of what this is. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where the game change started to happen. Yep. Like I was training with Luke flat out every weekend for, I can't even remember. It was before the buck and shoot last year.
So that was 2019, but winding you back to 2019. Yeah, 2018, that first full season. You said you were shooting fairly regularly through that season, but was it changing what you were doing, or how were you? What was the result of shooting so often, but more so by yourself?
Well, probably not so great, to be honest, because I found I was doing the same thing consistently, and the things that I was doing consistently were the wrong things to be doing. So I almost found myself in a trap going, well, I know what I've got to do, but how come I can't do it?
Yep.
And it was just, you know, that overlook of someone just going, well, just stop, like take 5 extra seconds, you know. And I think that's where you kind of have that small trap where a lot of dry fire makes you gun shy. Like Lucas says that on his Delta Tactical Practical Rifle training page that he has, that a good kind of comparison of that would be 40% live fire and then 60% dry fire, because otherwise you get gun shy. So I was dry firing, you know, an hour plus a night. And the thing is, you kind of, drop on target, bang, no worries, but you get up straight away. So you'd miss out on all those fundamentals, like taking that extra second to breathe, trigger follow through, spot your shot, you know, all those sorts of things. And that's where the bad habits are coming in. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I remember, sorry to bring up the bad memory, but I remember in 2018, the finale at Buchan, you got DQ'd on a stage, didn't you?
I did. I did.
And that stung, I bet.
Yeah, I was burning about that because it was bucketing rain and, just timing and everything like that. My muzzle dropped down as, who was it? Was it Goldie or...
Travie DQ'd you,
that's what it was.
But I don't know the details of exactly what happened. But and I bring that up because, you know, generally speaking, something like that you remember. Did that force any changes or behaviours to change for you?
Oh, definitely. I think like to go back on it, like working with Lucas, we've also done like, you know, almost like a muzzle safety course, you know, because he's like, the last thing you want to do is start climbing the ranks. And then all of a sudden you get DQ'd on a stage, you know. So he's just like, let's get these things, you know, embedded in your brain that the gun is always loaded. Even though it's not loading your chain flags in and your mags out, everything, your gun is always loaded. So just trying to inbred those, I suppose, good habits of firearm safety in prac, and I suppose you can carry that out into the field because it's normal. Like it becomes second nature. So Yeah.
Excellent, mate. Because you mentioned before that Buchan 2019, so that the revisit for you was your sort of first match after having spent some conscious time training with somebody else.
Correct.
And
Correct.
Luke's, where Luke's results have been aside for a moment, even just training with someone else, having that extra set of eyes on you, of picking you up on stuff that perhaps you wouldn't have seen otherwise. How did that
Absolutely.
Buchan how did that Buchan shoot go for you, and comparing that finale in 2018 to the Winter Classic?
Absolute worlds apart, absolute worlds apart. That was probably to date my best shoot I think I've done, and probably the most proud I've walked off, that range, feeling that I'd finally made some progress in the right direction. It was phenomenal. So to put all those things in practice, I've been training every weekend with Luke. It was awesome.
And so you made a decision to buy a new gun or build a new gun, and you hit Luke up, a good shooter, and asked for advice on that. And that I guess that turned into you shooting regularly with him. Was that a fairly conscious decision to say, "Hey, I'm going to put the effort in here. I really want to go further in doing this"?
Well, there was always the intention there to, kind of take this a little bit more serious than what it was. I'd spent the money now, so, I looked at it as, if I've spent the money, there's no point in me, redoing those or throwing myself in those bad habits and transitions. Let's do something about it. So just fortunate enough that, Lucas has dedicated so much time and effort. My rifle's behind me there. It's got a 8-pack 7x35 on there. That's Luke's. Anything you could possibly need, you can be out and stranded and, you need a jacket, Luke will take his off for you. He's just that guy. So,
Yeah, awesome, man. But it also takes two to tango, doesn't it? It takes you to decide that you're going to make those changes and no doubt then apply them when your coach or mentor or whatever you wish to assign the name.
He's a wizard. That's what it is.
The wizard. When the wizard's not there or shooting his own stage or in a different squad or whatever it might be, you've got to make that decision. And how do you go with that? There are things that you put into place in your process that allow you to enact as best you can.
Of course, the process is a big part of it. So we kind of take it back to getting the gun, going to Luke's house, getting a load sorted, blah, blah, blah. And Luke kind of turned around and said, well, from now on when I train, you train. And I kind of looked at him don't you have other people to train? Why are you going to train me? I was just a bit gobsmacked, that he'd throw an opportunity like that, a person like him doing so well in this sport. I was a bit taken back, but I was like, all right, cool. So once that was all, good, well said and done, we started dissecting everything as a process. So kind of step one, all right, you need to create a process. So what's your process? And I kind of just looked at him like, what do you mean, what's my process? He's like, you need a process. So your process of, your target's there, it's 300 meters. You don't. All right, cool, go. What's your process? So we kind of sat down and, worked out a process of, place your gun, natural point of aim at the target, get square behind the gun, breathe, run the bolt, all that sort of stuff, get trigger, follow through, spot your shot, all that sort of stuff. So once I would leave there, that process was up to me to ingrain in my own head. So for me to go out for a match, to go shoot a match and Luke's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing and, interacting with everyone else, at least when I know my turn's up, I can go up and go, all right, well, my process is, and then get behind the target, get behind the gun, square the target and so I think a process is very critical.
Absolutely.
A big part of it. It gives you something to fall back onto naturally, which is awesome because it's so easy to get lost in transition and, you know, it's multiple targets and dope and all that. So I think if you've got that down pat, then everything else is just second nature. So
I guess it's that one constant you can fall back on, because you do that because the stage is so diverse, you never quite know what it's going to do and how it's going to play out. But the moments prior to you know, the beat going, or the moments prior to you taking the shot, they're the same no matter what you're doing. And so having that process to recenter you, keep your mind back on the you know, this shot or this stage, whichever, you know, whether the process is leading into the stage or whether that process is breaking the shot, and it keeps you focused and keeps your mindset on what you're trying to achieve.
Definitely. Well, that's why I'm kind of highlighting, you know, people like Lucas and the 2 pages that he's got going on, which are Delta Tactical Precision Rifle Team, which is both him and George. Their practical rifle training, which is online on Facebook. Jay Orange and both Birchie as well. They've got so much information out there that's released on a daily that, like, COVID-19 could possibly be the best thing that could happen to PRS, because they're giving all the knowledge away without anyone asking, and it's right at your fingertips. So, yeah,
that is the thing right at the moment. You raise a really good point, man, and I'm going to talk to you about in a second. But yeah, right. I mean, that's where this show came out of, and on the other side of this, you know, the guys who've been sitting here have certainly dropped a whole stack of massive knowledge, and so it's been awesome. And there's more guys lined up and teed up to get involved as well. But you're right, Jay and Birchie and all sorts of guys as well have been putting information out there, because what else do you do? I mean, that's the thing. So it's
exactly right.
It's awesome to see that. Now you've got your own social media pages, Robbie.
I do.
What are your goals or plans with those? This is just the shout out is the Precision Project on Instagram and on Facebook. So guys, if you're on your phones or on anything right now, go and sign up to that, and let's boost.
Give them a like, give them a follow,
give them all that sort of gear. But what can people expect from you, particularly once this season kicks off?
Yeah, well, originally I didn't even have kind of a formal plan for it. It was just something that had been lurking in the woodworks. And all of a sudden, I was like, you know what, I'll just make the page. It wasn't supposed to go live, and then all of a sudden I got an influx of people liking the page, and I was like, oh, well, I guess it's too late to say no now. So the intent of the page was to kind of track my progress, obviously from when the page went up to, you know, ongoing. And kind of give the people the knowledge of the things that have helped me along the way. Track my progress. There was obviously going to be some hunting and stuff in there as well. But yeah, predominantly just kind of keeping up with my progress and trying to give everyone the tips that almost seem hard sorted, or, you know, hard to find, or if someone's stuck in a place where they feel like they're not progressing, at least, I don't know, try to give them something to fall back on. So that's all in the woodwork at the moment.
Fantastic, man. Well, that's the thing is you get onto you get onto it, and I think one of the fascinating things is that journey, is that documenting that experience, because you're not out there going, oh, I'm the guy, I'm the dude, I'm winning comps, and I'm what I love about you is the humility that you're like, man, I'm learning, and I'm just going to tell people what I'm learning about, and you know, you're a dude who just passes all the glory to others and the people who pass it on to you. But I think there's a lot of power in you know, that you talked about before, that often guys are a little bit nervous about the guys in the top 5 or top 10. And you know, that you shouldn't be, because they're just people, and they're just, you know, shooters and doing things. I mean, people's generous for a couple of them, but anyway. And so they're just regular dudes, and dudettes. When Emma sneaks into the top 10, come on, Emma, more of that. But anyway, and so
a few more push-ups.
More push-ups. Get on it. I hope she's doing push-ups right now. Anyway, if you're not, Emma, I'm talking to you. Start doing push-ups right now. Yeah. All right. So, where were we? Anyway, what I think is good is like those dudes, who are up there certainly have the knowledge and they share the knowledge. But I think there's a lot of inspiration in seeing that journey. And so, I'd encourage you to continue with that. And guys, if you're watching, go and hit up the Precision Project on both Instagram and Facebook. But I'd encourage you, Robbie, to continue to document that and put it out there, and because a lot of guys they want to see that, they want to see the good and the bad, and
for sure,
see the lessons. So I look forward to seeing what comes out of that, and once we start kicking off and getting the season underway, that'll be good. So how was the rest of 2019 season for you? Bucking was a big highlight for you, but you kept training, and I know you kept coming over and doing the smaller matches here in SA as well. How did it all go for the rest of the year?
Well, I was just trying to get match experience because I think mentally that's where my biggest area where I'm lacking. So I kind of made a pact to myself that any match that I could afford to go to, or any match that I could attend, good or bad, whatever it may be, wherever it may be, any match anywhere, I kind of made that pact to myself that I'd attend, because I think I'm kind of in that rut now where match experience is probably my biggest setback. So
okay, that's something that is there's only one way to train for that element of the whole thing, isn't it?
That's it, mate.
Yeah, and then so your experiences through 2019, it was varied. Did you have some really good successes and then some sort of average ones, or how did you go?
Yeah, definitely. I had some. So 2019 started off, I would say, a little bit consistent, or a little bit better than how it ended in 2018.
Yep.
Coming into 2019. There wasn't a whole lot of hidden surprises to obviously working with Luke, and I think that's where I learned to slow down and have a process and started to make some progress. But then after Bucking, after I got a good result, or well, probably my best result ever, that was my first shoot in Open, mind you, as well.
Yeah, well done.
So I was nervous about that, going up with all the big guns.
Yeah.
But once that shoot was kind of over, I kind of got, an overwhelming feeling and really excited, but then anxious as well, because I was like, well, I don't want to go back into, I think I finished 11th or something like that.
Yeah, nice.
At Bucking, but I was like, I don't want to go back to top 20, so I kind of put a lot of pressure on myself to, try and hold that title. And I don't think my result was too great the next shoot over, but it's a slow process. I'm just here for the journey. It's going to be good either way. So,
yeah, nice, mate, nice. And I guess you break it down stage by stage and go, I smashed that one, and this one's to work on.
Yeah.
Have you got particular themes at the moment that that these sort of stages are the ones I struggle with, or is there something more overall that's challenging for you?
I think if I really break it down, I could definitely find my weak points. That's for sure. So they're all things that I'm willing to address, and I've got a bit of a journaling going on. So,
awesome.
Strong points, weak points, the good, the bad, face it, accept it. And, if I want to progress, you just got to face your fears and accept that's what it is, instead of going, it was this, blaming everything else. Everything's your fault. So you got to accept it, face it, and then if you want to do better, you need to do something about it.
Tackle it. Yeah. I do like that a bloke as good as looking as you said had to deal with the good and the bad, but hasn't had to deal with the ugly. Good job, man. Good job. I like it. All right, guys. Thank you for those who are watching. Just a little check-in. Let you guys know that tomorrow night Ben Jarrett is on. We're talking social media and shooting and guns and all that sort of thing. So if that's something of interest, we got a stack of questions from the last one. So clearly someone's interested in how that goes about building a social profile or following or making videos. Any of those sort of questions we will be here to answer and to delve into. And also let you know that you can. There was something else, and it's just throwing me off from what that is. But if you are into the second week of Team Impact as well, tag us in. So in Instagram or on Facebook or on TikTok, I guess, or all sorts of things. Tag us in, let us know so we can share that out, because one of the really encouraging things of doing whatever goal is that you want to do together is the regular encouragement to see other people out there smashing their goals or working towards it or failing miserably, but at least trying and putting some effort in, which is on a daily. You think, oh man, I better go and do something. So if you're not on board with Team Impact yet, it is not too late if you want to achieve something in the next week. And by the way, we've a number of the guys we've mentioned tonight have got some sort of thing they're working on in terms of push-ups or in terms of fitness or anything along those lines, or yoga for Andy Little. But it is not just that. Steve Blacker put out one awesome one this week that his goal is, I think in the next week and a half or 2 weeks or something, to read 4 of the Applied Ballistics books. That's a sensational goal. And one of the other guys setting up for reloading. So any of those sort of things, that's the point of it, is to use this time that coronavirus, as Robbie said, has probably brought us some blessings, as long as you're healthy and people in your family are safe. It has made some interesting opportunities that I think we should make the most of. So that's what it's all about, and look forward to it. Robbie, we've got some comments and questions we're going to go through in the chat. So let's deal with that. So Tungi wants to know where the bearded gunsmith has been the last 2 weeks. Not that you can answer that one. I don't know, man. Maybe he's been busy making some guns or something, probably. Emma loves shooting with you at Little River in 2018, but hasn't mentioned it.
Yes, that was a good throwback. That was her first shoot, wasn't it?
No, Darwin was.
Yeah. Well, the first shoot I shot with her, and she absolutely smashed it.
Yes.
I remember watching her the first stage.
Yep.
I can't remember what stage it was, but the first stage, I think we were squatted together.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, take a look at this girl. She's giving it a good crack. Good on it. And she just went up and cleaned it. Everyone was just gobsmacked. So, Emma. It's not like it's not uncommon for her to clean a stage these days. So
no, not wrong. Absolutely. I do notice that she hasn't mentioned that she enjoyed shooting with you at any other time. So I don't know what's happened there. But anyway, Sean Watts said that you were a different shooter at Buchan in 2019. So whatever you can do to get back to that place, it would be great.
Mate.
Angelo asks, Robbie, where's your favourite place in Victoria to shoot? And I guess it's not just limited to ranges. Do you get out hunting still?
Nowhere near as much as I'd like, especially in the PRS season.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, I'll go to Luke's, just go up to Lucas's house and train with him.
Yep.
I've got some other properties I can get onto, and I've got ranges set up there. So that, but Little River is always a good test, because there's lots and lots of wind there, and it's always left to right, right to left, switching. So if you want to learn how to read wind, Little River will definitely challenge you. I suppose I wouldn't say read wind because of the switchy winds up there, but spot your shot, being able to just let a shot go and spot your shot. I think Little River is an awesome place for that, because you can be dead on nut center and let the same shot go 2 seconds later, and it's going to be off the left edge or off the right edge. So yeah.
Gotcha. Alex said that he learned something every time he watched Robbie shoot. He also tears a rib ligament every time he tries to twist himself into Robbie's signature low barricade position. What are you not telling me, Robbie? I mean, you must be a flexible dude then. You can get into some...
I am. And Alex is always standing there in, memorized and, just in awe of going, how the heck can you get yourself in those positions? So
love it.
Naturally flexible, I think it pays itself well.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I look forward to that. Dan's got a comment here. 18 months shooting PRS has taught me more about mindset and process than 30 years of life experience. Any thoughts on that?
What was the question again? Sorry,
it
Russ,
wasn't a question. Oh, good man. Dan says 18 months shooting PRS has taught him more about mindset and process than 30 years of life experience.
I don't really get the question.
No, it's not a question. I was just wondering if you had any thought. Like, you've talked a lot about mindset and processes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Has that applied anywhere else in your life at this stage, or is that?
Oh, really... yeah, sure. Definitely. Yeah. Well, I've got OCD by nature, so, those sorts of things kind of just tend to follow up on themselves. But, trying to, I suppose, understand and make things how they want to be, and I don't know, figure things out, just to learn to be a bit more patient. And I don't know, if you want to go about doing anything in general life, there's always some sort of process, so it can be carried on anywhere. So it's definitely been a big game changer for me.
I think that's the thing. Like, you talk about mindset and process, and these are truths that are not limited to PRS. In fact, PRS is very much unrelated to these concepts that have been around for a long time, and play a massive role in all aspects of life. And I think that when whatever point you come across them, maybe it's through PRS for many people, or maybe it's through some other sort of hobby or work life or whatever it is, and you start uncovering mindset and keeping, working and good work and smart work and all this sort of stuff. You can apply that in every part of your life, but I've found in my experience, you've got to find that somewhere where you're really passionate about developing and performing.
Definitely.
And then it can start, and it takes some time to equate those lessons across to other parts of life where you're like, hang on, this is actually just the same mentality. We're just doing different things.
For sure.
Yeah. So,
definitely.
Anyway, all right. Sean says his favourite shooting venue is Little River, and favourite venue is Buchan. I think the atmosphere around Buchan is something unique. How many times have you been over there for a shoot? Because I remember you bailed on one because it was a little bit rainy.
Yeah, it was actually bucketing. Well, I actually cancelled because I was supposed to stay at a property out in Buchan.
Yeah.
In a cabin, and he ended up messaging me going, "Don't bother coming down. There's all the trees have fallen all over the road, so you won't be able to get to the accommodation." So I was like, "Well, if that's my accommodation gone and it's absolutely bucketing rain, like, where am I going to stay? What am I going to do?" So I ended up pulling the pin. Yeah. So you've been there a couple of times then? Just
I've been there probably 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because go.
Is that for you've been there for Jake shoots as well?
For Orange?
The club, no, Jake's shoots. Jake's with
Jake. Yeah, Simmons. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Cool. Yeah, it's how do you find the difference between like the club level shoots and the PRS stuff? Do you treat them any differently when you go to shoot them?
I think you got to go there with a good mindset, no matter what. Mm-hmm. If you're going to go to shoot a club shoot, I think it's good to test all the skills that you've been putting in training and put them in prac, and use them in more of a competitive environment, whether it's a club match or a PRS national match or anything like that. Yep. If you can use all those little trades and little skills that you've been working towards and trying to gain the progress there on anything. If you can just go to a club match or any sort of match and just ingrain and embed those processes and the mindset and everything like that at those matches, I think every little bit helps. So.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I guess trigger time is pretty important. So in the time that you've been really focused on developing, obviously mindset and processes have been the biggest factors. But is there something in the practical side of things, like a particular drill or a particular skill that you worked on that you've seen like a big improvement in your shooting from?
Well, I'll figure out. Well, predominantly, I wrote up a list of my weakest to what I thought would be my strongest.
Okay.
And it kind of turns out that the center of that list that I wrote tend to be through prac be my strongest, and then they kind of work themselves out to obviously being the hardest thing or the thing that I find the hardest to obviously the best. But it almost was like the thing that I thought was the best wasn't necessarily the best. So I kind of just put all them in prac, and I think all the unsupported stuff have come a long way. I could never shoot on prone unsupported, seated, kneeling. I can almost nail every shot besides standing. I'm still trying to figure that one out. But,
you and everyone else, mate. So with your unsupported shooting, it's a tough one. It's a challenging one. What have you done to be able to improve? Has it purely just been time behind the gun, or has there been a couple of things you put into practice to make that?
There's been a process.
Yep. Awesome.
A big process, yeah. So I found that one of the biggest things is, if you're going to do anything, anything really PRS related, but predominantly unsupported stuff, I need to be in the most relaxed mind, body, spirit state that you could possibly be in to be able to get that gun steady. If you've got anything coming in, everything just is times by 1,000 compared to onto a barricade or something like that. So creating a big process for that, and just ironing that in every time I'd go out. So I'd kind of start off prone unsupported, then go seating, kneeling, and then standing, and then do it in reverse order. But it didn't matter how long it took for me to take a shot. It could take 5 minutes to take one shot. It didn't matter. As long as the process was getting ingrained is kind of how I treated it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice. I think we touched on it. There's a couple of questions there. What's your favourite caliber? What are you running at the moment?
At the moment, at the end of last year, the plan was to run the Dasher.
Okay.
But that's kind of been on hold. I've been shooting the 223. It's a 223 Ackley improved.
Yeah.
I've been shooting that flat out. Awesome. But I suppose, like anything, as you start gaining confidence behind the gun and you start getting familiar with everything, you start to see the changes and the things that you need to change to make yourself take those steps forward.
Yep.
So I'm kind of in a situation now where I've been shooting the 223 for so long that I put the Dasher barrel on and everything's become hard again. So just under recoil and, spotting your shots and all that, not necessarily saying the recoil's bad or the recoil is big, like that. By all means, that's not the case.
Yep.
But to have the fundamentals that I worked so hard with the 223 to try to carry everything over to the Dasher, it's almost like I need to restart. So I'm kind of at the point now where it's considering changing my whole setup again so I can take that step further. So.
Gotcha. Do you think that's because you haven't had a lot of guns, have you? This is sort of
this is sort of my third kind of gun.
Onto the third one, and I do you think that if you were 7 guns down the path, those core fundamentals will be much more generic and being able to apply to a different platform more so than you've learned your core stuff around one gun?
Sorry, was the last bit?
I just said so I guess you've learnt your core fundamentals using one gun really in the last year or so.
Yeah.
And now you've changed the system. I suspect once you've gone through 3 or 4, that'll become easier and easier.
Well, I think you start to know what to look for, and that's probably the biggest highlight.
That's great.
So if I don't know, say if I was using my Howard Bravo now, I wouldn't have the adjustability like I do I'm using a MPA now. So you wouldn't have the adjustability, and then obviously you want more weight. So, all right, cool. So I've got more weight now, which it's going to settle a lot better and all the rest of it. Now, all right, so the gun's weighted, but now the gun's unbalanced.
Yep.
So you need to have that fine. It's going to be a combination of everything. So I would say weight, balance, and adjustability. If you've got all those 3 things and everything is fully adjustable, I think you're on the way to a winning path. So
nice, man.
Yeah.
Sean asks, after working with Luke, did you find your gear needed much work or adjustment at all?
Definitely. And that's why I think I'm at that point now where at the time when I built the gun, everything felt like it was perfect, amazing, and the best thing I could have ever done.
Yeah.
And now it's like I feel like I've outgrown that, and to progress, I need to upgrade it. not necessarily saying the gear's bad,
Yep.
but
Understand.
it's all those little things. It's all the 10%ers that are shining through now. Like I've got shorter arms than an average person, and the length of pull on an MPA is like 13.5. I need something around 12.
Yep.
So it's the length of pull which is throwing me out for one. Now it's the weight, the adjustability, the balance, all those sorts of things are starting to come into play. And that's where I'm starting to fight myself to be able to shoot the gun that I'm shooting at a good level, because I've kind of almost worked past the point where the gun wasn't holding me back. Now it's, myself isn't holding me back. Yep. I feel like I can execute the task being put at hand, and now it's a matter of the gun's holding me back and I need to do something about it. So
yeah, it's not about blaming the gun for performances. You're just trying to optimize it to the way because you found how to shoot and how you do things, and just trying to stack everything to take the excuses out, isn't it, Robbie? Just now there's no excuses with the gun. It's
that's
you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, Rusty. You just got to be honest with yourself and go, well, where's the weaknesses? Like, Phil Vallejo's doing videos on, uploading videos once a week and stuff like that. If everyone's watching that, or if you're not watching it, get on it, because he's throwing out some awesome highlights. And you can everyone's weaknesses are highlighted through just the small basic things that he does. Yeah. So, for length of pull and, all those sorts of things, I think they're the base and the core, and they'll show everyone's weaknesses. So
yeah, absolutely, man. We got a couple of questions coming through on the tail end, so we'll try and fire through them quickly. Do you use a 22 at all in training, or do you have a 22?
Yeah, not necessarily in training, but I do shoot a lot of 22. It's good fun.
Yeah, nice. What are you running?
I'm running a Lithgow
LA 101.
What is it? That's the one, mate. Yeah. And it is an absolute hammer. Yep. So, really happy with that.
Very good. And do you reload, or do you run factory like Birchie? Yeah.
No, reload.
Yep. And what are you throwing together? What projects?
Well, I don't know if anyone can see. Will they be able to see that, Russ?
I can see your A&D scales.
A&D FX 120. I've actually got a mech MEC press, free floating shell holder and all that. It is dead money, like awesome. So that Reading guys,
nice, mate. Very good. All sorts of kit. Awesome. Well, we're about running out of time. So, Robbie, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's been awesome to hear your journey and look forward to seeing once 2020 kicks in, how it all comes together for you. And keep up the good work, and keep focused and keep training, and try not to rip any more ribs.
We'll try not to, mate. We'll try not to.
Yeah, easy. No worries, man. And guys, so if you are watching, check out the Precision Project, and give Robbie a like and follow, and do all the things that you're meant to do on social media these days, and that'll be excellent. So, guys, thanks so much for tuning in for the show. We'll be back tomorrow night with Ben Jarrett. If you've enjoyed this, it'd be awesome if you can start sharing any of these out, or when we go live, chuck it up, and we'd love to get a few more crew watching. Not because we need more number. We like the people who are already in the chat, but it's always nice if we can put some information out to more people. So look forward to that, and I think that's about it. Tag us in if you're doing any Team Impact challenges over the next week, and we look forward to a wrap-up show next Monday, which will cover off on all of that with all sorts of check-ins from guys, and no doubt Dave Acker will do another video, and Andy will send us some more yoga, and anyway, all sorts of stuff. Look forward to it. Guys, thanks so much for watching